On today's show, we'll discuss how injuries have overshadowed a 4-game losing streak after the Sens fell 5-2 to Montreal on Saturday.
And we have an awesome interview with Jenner Jensen.
This is Brady Tkachuk, and you're listening to the Locked On Senators podcast.
Your Locked On Senators, your daily podcast on the Ottawa Senators. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome! You are locked on to the Ottawa Senators, the only daily podcast covering the Sens. On the outskirts of enemy territory, I'm Ross Levitan, alongside Brandon Piller up in the Blue Mountains. Today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. New customers right now can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just head to FanDuel right now to get started. Today is Monday, February 24th, and Pilsy, I don't care that you're missing Brady Tkachuk, Shane Pinto, and Josh Norris. Losing to the Habs sucks no matter how you slice it.
Especially at the CTC with Habs fans bombarding the building. So that was a tough one, Ross. I was hoping you wouldn't bring this up, but I guess we got to dig into this again.
Well, there was an alternative entrance to the show that says, can't wait for the Sens to come back from break on Wednesday.
Yeah, up against the Winnipeg Jets, who are on a 9-game winning streak. Cool.
Yeah, they just set a franchise record with their 9th straight win on Saturday. They've got the Sharks tonight, who are coming to Ottawa on Saturday next week. We'll be boots on the ground for that. So, hey, I'm very excited for next weekend. Even a 5-game losing streak couldn't kill my vibe for that one.
Yeah, but we won't have to worry about that. They'll get the dub against the Jets. So, the Jets can have the win up against San Jose, get it to a nice even number 10, and then the Sens will slash that down. You can't have an 11-game winning streak in Ottawa. Can't do it.
That's a very good point there, Pilsy. And Ottawa's got the full day off today after the Sens skills competition yesterday. Maybe the skills competition came at a good time. There's my skills competition. It's about the kids. It's about the fans. It's about the family. However, it's about good vibes. And there was a lot of great energy at the CTC yesterday. Our Jack Richardson was boots on the ground with CTV Ottawa. He said he had some great conversations with all the citizens out there. But maybe that's what they need. Maybe they just need to, have some fun.
And it's a good confidence booster, too. Like Drake Batherson, a guy that's been in a bit of a slump recently, let's be honest. He pulled off, I don't know if you saw that move on Anton Forsberg, Ross. He pulled off an insane move in the shootout. And how about winning hardest shot? So he's got the hands, he's got the power, and Noah Gregor, if you're wondering, still fast. So these guys are showing that they have the skills to do it. Now, mind you, skills competition up against yourselves. So obviously there's going to be winners all over, but it's a nice confidence boost for those guys that have those attributes to be like, yeah, still got it. Now let's see those in NHL action.
Noah Gregor set the fastest lap in Sens history, breaking a record that Colin Greening has had for 14 years.
That would have been a good trivia question, Ross. If you would have hit me who held the record for fastest lap, I would not have guessed Colin Greening. Let me just say that.
I would have had him in my top 5 of guesses.
Oh, yeah? Huh.
Yeah. I don't know if because of COVID, Formanton never got to do one, but he obviously won the AHL fastest skater at the All-Star game. But Noah Gregor, very fast. And you know what else I could confirm? This is my biggest takeaway from the Sens skills. It is not a right wrist injury for Brady Tkachuk. That guy was signing autographs for like 2 hours straight.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the thing. Like, people can have their opinions on Brady missing that game, and that's fine. But if you want to talk about how he affects this team and his presence in the community and the vibe that he brings, that, in my opinion, can't be questioned. This guy is a leader on and off the ice, and he made sure that any fan that wanted an autograph, Ian posted the picture of him signing autographs, and he was saying, kids were like, come on, sign this, and he's like, I'll get to you. And apparently he got to every single one. So that's awesome. That's just the kind of guy Brady is.
A longer line for autographs from Brady than who lined up to shake Michael Andlauer's hand after the home opener last year after his first game as owner.
Yep.
So, look, we hope Brady's back at practice on Tuesday. We hope that Josh Norris and Shane Pinto are healthy. And something that can give you a bit of confidence potentially for that is that yesterday the Sens sent down Zach Ostapchuk and Cole Reinhardt. Does that compute to you, or do you think it might be a paper transaction? How do you negotiate with yourself with that roster move yesterday?
Well, negotiating with myself is tough, Ross. I feel like I'm either easily winning, and then I feel like a fool that I let myself win so well, or I don't have a chance up against myself, and then I get down in the dumps. So self-negotiating, tough market there. But getting back to Reinhart and Ostapchuk, they did not play in Belleville's game yesterday. Now, obviously, quick turnaround, so I don't.
And
think
in Cleveland, road game for Belleville.
Yeah, so I don't think that's something that really we can focus on. But the Belleville Senators do play tonight, Ross, up against the Monsters. I'm not sure. Maybe you can check for me. Is that game in Cleveland as well, or do they go back to Belleville?
No, Footy was at the Cavaliers game last night, so I'd imagine they stayed.
Okay, nice. And that would make sense to not go back and forth between Belleville and Cleveland. So I think tonight, if they're in the lineup, that will be interesting and telling to see what's going on there. But I don't know, Ross. I got started thinking, like, I think, and you brought it up on Twitter, I think it would be beneficial for Ostapchuk to go back to the AHL. Why not give more veteran guys, and I mean, Ostapchuk's in his early 20s, so it's easy to be more veteran than him, but Sam Gagner's now played 14 games, no goals, but 8 assists in 14 games. This is a veteran guy. You're not seasoning him. You're not developing him in the minors. Why not bring him up? Let him have a chance. He's got 14 games to get his feet under him. Jan Yannick had a goal and had the shootout winner in that game up against the Cleveland Monsters. And why not give these guys opportunities and let the kind of younger guys get top minutes in the AHL? That would be something that I would be interested in looking at for the Sens.
So you've lost your negotiation. You don't think this means Josh Norris and Shane Pinto are back on Wednesday?
Yeah, I lost that negotiation, Ross. That's a glass half empty negotiation right there, because I mean, they didn't participate in the skills competition either, so clearly.
Neither did Nick Jensen, though, and we know Nick Jensen's been playing through something, and I think it was more, look, if you have any sort of ailment, don't risk it trying to be a hero on the fastest lap.
No, certainly. But, I mean, that would have been a sign if they competed or were participating. That would have been a sign that they're closer to returning, right? So, I don't know. I've tried.
We'll find out tomorrow.
I've been moving the goalposts, Ross. I was like, okay, one of them is going to return after the break. Okay, one of them is going to be there for San Jose. So I got to stop moving the goalposts, and just with those two guys, unfortunately, it's very difficult to kind of understand where they're at. And the team is Fort Knox secretive about where they are and where they're progressing, but at least they're skating. So that's a good thing, I guess.
Yeah, it is a good thing they're skating. They have been on their own for the last week, though. It's not like they'd be stepping into an NHL practice and have no idea, when they're going to be back. I think once they get to practice, they're going to play pretty quickly after that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if it's a lower body injury and you can't skate, then I think you need a little bit more time to get your legs under you, but at least they're going to have that skating, conditioning, and cardio, and they should be ready to go as soon as possible, please. My God.
Yeah, at least by next Saturday. Like, you need a full lineup. I mean, the Sharks gave Calgary all they could handle up until the third period. Midway through, it was tied, and then Calgary pulled ahead and got the win. But San Jose is the 32nd ranked team. Billsy, just as an aside, and we'll get to our friends over at FanDuel later on, the line for tonight's game between Winnipeg and San Jose, number 1 versus number 32 in the league, it's the biggest line I've seen maybe in the history of money line in the NHL.
I haven't looked. Scouts Honor haven't looked. I'm going to say minus 410 Jets.
Minus 490.
Oh, is the puck line 2.5?
The puck line is minus 1.5 is minus 170 for the Jets.
Okay. I mean,
minus 170 to win by 2 or more. It's amazing.
The Jets are on a 9-game winning streak. They're pretty hot right now.
They are pretty hot right now. We'll get. Hey, those are the next 2 opponents. So if you're a Sens fan, Amazon Broadcast, our good buddy Jody Shelley on the call too, in the color seat. So hey, I think it's one to watch for the Sens tonight.
And check out Locked On Sharks, Locked On Jets to find out what's going on with the opponents.
Yeah, and no games that have any investment into the Sens playoff picture tonight. It's 2 Western Conference games, just 2 games on the standings. The one we just mentioned, plus the Vegas Golden Knights are in LA. But yesterday, not an ideal out-of-town scoreboard. The New York Rangers get 2 points. The Red Wings get 2 points, although for them, at least you can say, look, it wasn't a regulation win, and hopefully if it comes down to that, Ottawa will have the tiebreaker. They blew a 4-1 lead in that game. Tampa were not worried. Tampa's making the playoffs.
Gone.
They're top 3 in the division. And then I guess the only good thing was that the Islanders lost in regulation because the Islanders are playing the Rangers tomorrow night. So had the Islanders won last night, and then we're going to be rooting for them tomorrow over the Rangers, who are now just 2 points back of Ottawa, we would have been like, okay, now let's go Islanders. But then the Islanders would have been just 2 points back. Like Ottawa, they got to take care of their own business. We said that time and time again, but no doubt teams are catching up in the standings. Ottawa hasn't had a point in like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's so tight in the wild card race and the playoff race that you can look at the out-of-town scoreboard, but eventually, Ross, the only games that matter need to be Sens games, and they need to hold their own destiny because teams are going to play each other and points are going to happen no matter what. Sometimes, worst case scenario, 3-point nights with 2 teams in the race. So you can't be like, oh, the reason the Sens didn't make the playoffs is because Red Wings Islanders went to overtime. Like that's at some point, it's got to be the reason the Sens didn't make the playoffs or came down to their success or failures.
Yeah, exactly. And it's a light week this week for the Sens, just the 2 games, Wednesday against Winnipeg and then Saturday against San Jose. Worth noting as well, the Jets are playing a back-to-back. They're playing the Nashville on Thursday. So I know Nashville's not a great team, but they are a divisional team.
They lost 5-0 to the Devils last night.
Yeah, so you think Hellebuck probably gets a start on Wednesday, hey?
Yeah.
He also hasn't played since, like, he got the day off on Saturday against
He'll be
St.
itching
Louis
to play, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to go up against Connor Hellebuck.
Well, or does he play tonight?
Wow, he probably plays tonight and Wednesday.
Damn, I was trying
to. Today's episode should be called Negotiating with Ourselves.
Yeah.
But look, after this week, it's all systems go. It's going to be a busy schedule, sprint to the finish, as David Perron called it. And I guess it does come at a good time where you come back from the break, you have 3 games in 8 days, and then, or 9 days really, because they got the Sunday off after the Sharks game, and then it's go time. So maybe that's a part of the thinking for the Senators brass with these injured players. Let's not push things right now. Let's make sure that they are healthy for when it matters most. We've got a great interview for you on today's show. Jenner Jensen, the wife of Senators defenseman Nick Jensen. Phenomenal interview coming up. We get into a little bit of what it's like to be the wife of a player who just gets traded and this amazing cause, Duchenne, that they are trying to get rid of, muscular dystrophy. And it's a great cause. And she talks about how passionate and why it's close to her heart. Billsy, what'd you think going into this one? And did it exceed your expectations?
Well, this was our first interview of a partner of a player, correct?
Believe so, yeah.
We've had dads, brothers, everything like that, but this is the first wife of a player, and she does not disappoint. She's awesome. We have a bunch of laughs along the way, and like Ross mentioned, great awareness for DMD, and make sure you get in. We're going to put the link in the episode description. Get in on all the awesome prizes, and she even mentions there's some surprise prizes as well that are not mentioned. Surprises. Yes, absolutely.
All right, let's get to our interview with Jenner Jensen.
Today's episode is brought to you by our friends over at Wonderful Pistachio. Are you looking for a snack that's both delicious and nutritious? Crack into a good source of protein with Wonderful Pistachios. Wonderful Pistachios is one of the highest protein nuts. Each 1 ounce serving has 6 grams of protein and gives you over 10% of your daily value. Plus, they're packed with fiber and better for you unsaturated fats to keep you feeling full longer. I love the salt and pepper flavor. They have so many different flavors you can try. Ross has tried a bunch of them, loves them. And if you don't want to deal with the shells, you can get the no shells variety, and that's just straight pistachios. And I love it, though, because it's a snack that you can work away on. Ross is cracking away at pistachios right now, but if you're watching a movie and you don't want to just go through your snack too quickly, you got to work to get those pistachios. You got to get cracking. So get snacking and get cracking with the snack that packs a protein punch. Visit wonderfulpistachios.com to learn more.
Today's episode is also brought to you by the Glebe Central Pub. We will be boots on the ground at the Glebe Central Pub next Saturday when the Sens take on the San Jose Sharks. We'll take the shuttle to the game, and we've got 2 buses going. 2 buses. Cannot wait for a great atmosphere at the pub before the game. We're going to spend all afternoon. It's at 779 Bank Street, walking distance from Lansdowne, and I think it's just a fantastic place to get together with Sens fans before the game. So we're going to be there for lunch. We're going to hang out, have a few cold ones, and get chatting with everybody before heading to the CTC. The shuttle leaves an hour and 15 minutes before the game and takes you right back to the pub and us on Saturday, 15 minutes after the game. There's live music every Saturday at the Glebe Central Pub. I'm going to be shaking, shimmying, grooving, having a great time at the GCP. The vibes are free at the GCP. It's also Hamburglar night next Saturday, so we cannot wait to be crushing smash burgers. The burgers are so delicious at the Glebe Central Pub. So head there, and because it's a Sens game day, any game day, let them know that Locked On Senators sent you, and you'll get 10% off your order at the Glebe Central Pub. It's our pub in the heart of the Glebe. We'll see you there. You can get your tickets for the shuttle online at glebecentralpub.com. It's the GCP, where the vibes are free. All right, we now welcome a very, very special guest. We're going to Minnesota to catch up with Jenner Jensen. Welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Of course. Thanks for having me, you guys.
So how's the whirlwind been since July 2nd? Or even before that? It was right after the NHL draft. Nick gets traded to Ottawa. What was the initial reaction? And then getting everybody organized to the new part of Nick's career.
Yeah, so I actually had my three boys with me. I was driving home. He had just got done working out, snuck off to the driving range, I'm sure. And I was headed home with the boys. I was like 2 minutes from home, just checking in. And this is before the trade, like news of the trade came out. And we were just chatting, and I pulled in the driveway, and we were renting a house at the time because we're building, we just finished building our house. And so I walked in the house, and he like looked like he like saw a ghost, and the boys ran in and went to their toys, and he was like, okay, like, I don't want you to freak out. And I thought, okay, what's going on here? And he goes, but I just got traded to Ottawa. And I remember we just kind of looked at each other, and I'm like, at this point in his career, I took a deep breath and I said, okay. And it was more just like obviously he was with the Caps for, 5.5 seasons, and that's rare to be with a team that long. So figured it was bound to happen at some point. It was more just a matter of, okay, I have schools lined up. I'm a physician assistant, so I had a career out there, and it's kind of just, we had a house. So it's kind of just that initial like whirlwind of like, where do we start? But it worked out really well. Obviously settle in really well there. Got to know the guys. The team's wonderful. It's been really awesome so far.
Now, when you hear it's Ottawa, that's the destination. What's kind of the first things going through your mind? Because you guys are both from Minnesota. He had been playing in Detroit and Washington. So this is a whole new experience, new country, everything. So what was your first kind of reaction to Ottawa being the destination?
Well, I'm not going to lie. I was a little anxious because I was extremely pregnant. And so the first thought in my head was like, how the heck do I get this like newborn over the border with a passport? And I'm a checklist person. So I was like, okay, city wise, to be honest, the only other time I'd been to Canada was for a wedding in Banff for a previous teammate. And then back long time ago when Nick was in the outdoor game with Detroit. So I went to Toronto for like a second, which I wouldn't even really consider that like going to Canada because it was just like in and out. But I was a little anxious, I'm like new country. I can't work out there, and where do we live? It's definitely kind of like a weird feeling, but Nick and I have been together, for a long time, so we've been through a lot of different like hurdles and different challenges together. So figured it was just another one we'd take on.
A long time is, I think, putting it lightly. When did you and Nick meet?
So we met actually in daycare. So we grew up in the same neighborhood. We went to the same little like in-home daycare thing. So I guess we debate this like between the ages of like, I think I was 4, he was 5. So we knew each other then, but that was back when, boys had cooties, and I, wanted nothing to do with him until we were a little bit older. And then I was a tomboy. So I followed him around and bugged him his whole life.
It's amazing. And it's a town of Rogers, right? Just outside of Minneapolis.
Yep. So it's like 30 miles north of Minneapolis. So yeah, it's a booming town now, but it was pretty much nothing. It was like cornfields, and we didn't even have a high school at the time. So yeah, it was me and Nick and like 6 other guys in the neighborhood biking around and doing all the things.
So you guys have been together for 90% of your life, give or take. You haven't gotten sick of each other yet?
Oh gosh, it's pretty I'm sick of him, but I need him around. It's weird. We truly were best friends for a long time. I was a tomboy. Actually, if you we debate this, I actually was more athletic than him. I'm not supposed to tell you guys this, but you
Well,
should
it's out
ask
there now.
you should ask him whose jersey's retired in the high school. It's not his. So
Yeah, you were quite the basketball player, right?
yeah, back in my prime, I like can't even. My body hurts every day now. I'm getting
What
old.
was
But
your
yeah,
position?
so I was a point guard, so five foot
Nice.
six, not tall, but my all my bridesmaids in our wedding were like 6 foot plus. So it was a good time, and he had all the hockey guys. So that wedding was a night to remember or not remember. But no, yeah, we grew up together. We went to middle school together. We went to high school together. I actually played basketball at St. Cloud State first while he was playing junior, and then he signed with State a year later. So truly have been like, I joke about it, but I would be completely lost without him. And apparently I'm interesting enough for him to have liked me all these years.
When did it kind of become clear that hockey was going to be his career path and that you were going to be like, well, this is going to be a part of our lifestyle. We got to deal with trades. We got to deal with moving different countries out of the blue, things like that. Like, when did that kind of become clear that that was the path?
You're gonna laugh, but I actually remember. So we were the kind of, I guess, like couple or friends, whatever you want to call it. Like dating when you're like, super young is different than when you're adults. But we hung out every day, and I remember when one day he gave me a gift, and it was a Detroit Red Wings, like a kind of like a sweatshirt, and I opened it, and I was like, the heck is this? Like,
This
and he was
isn't a
like, oh,
Minnesota sort of Wild jersey. What is this?
yeah, I was like, oh, because I knew obviously, like I would go. I visited him in juniors when he was in Green Bay. I used to go to his like all-star. I don't know what they call them, like AAA like tournaments. And I'm like, holy cow, I think he's like good at. I think he's good at hockey. Like I remember in high school, we'd be like losing, and he would just like take it and go score. And I'm like, oh, like I think he's like pretty good because I was a basketball player. So I was like, oh, this is like, okay. But when he gave me the Detroit Red Wings shirt. I like opened it up and he's like, "Oh, I got drafted." And I'm like, to be honest, I was like, "I don't okay." And he's like, "Yeah, so that means like I'm with the Red Wings." He was like 18 or whatever. And he's like, "Yeah, it happened." Like I think you know the story. He's like, "It happened overnight. Like I missed the actual like announcement, but yeah, I'm drafted." And I guess at that point, it kind of hit me like, okay, I always knew growing up he had all the like hockey player like posters on his wall and stuff, but I was like, "Oh, this is I think he's going to actually be a hockey player." And so, yeah, when he went, so I graduated college and wanted to go to medical school, and he told me he was going to go sign with Detroit a year early. And I just remember we had the discussion of like, hey, like I want you to come with me, like this is a forever thing. Like obviously we like love each other and need each other in our lives, and we just made it work. So I kind of just said, buckle up, and we'll make it work. So, yeah.
Oh, that's an awesome story. And now I think you got married, what, 11 years ago now?
God, you have to make me sound that old.
No, you're not old at all. Hey,
Yeah.
Nick's having a hell of a season. I think a lot of Sens fans, defensive defensemen in particular, I don't think they get the Sports Center shine as much. So a lot of Sens fans, I think, were curious of how Nick would fit into the group. But hey, he looks like he's 26 out there with the amount of minutes he's playing.
As an athlete, I know basketball is a lot different, but I've gotten the luxury of getting to watch him and kind of what his role is as a defenseman over the years. And I know I'm biased, but I'm extremely proud of the kid. I mean, I shouldn't say kid anymore, but he's, truly like he's taken pride in the fundamentals, even young, like skating, defense. And he said it before in interviews, like it's easy for, you know, people who are fans of hockey to play, the fantasy hockey, and they're going to pick the players who are like scoring goals left and right and this and that. And I'm just so proud of him because truly since day one, he's like, my job is to, you know, stop goals, block shots, play defense. And hey, if I get a point or two, that's great. But I've just been really proud of the person and the role that he's taken on over the years. And I feel like he's finally relatively confident there. So proud of him for sure.
Hope you're enjoying our chat with Jenner. We'll get right back to it. But first, Pilsy's got a word from our friends at FanDuel.
Yep, when the game tips off, the NBA action is just getting started, and there's no better place to get in on it Then FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. With FanDuel, you can place live bets throughout the game, so even if you miss the opening tip-off or you want to bet on a fourth quarter comeback, you can stay in on the action. And if you're looking for a bigger payout, try combining your live bets into a same-game parlay. I love using FanDuel's live betting feature. It keeps me in the game. If you got a hunch how momentum's going to go, check out the FanDuel app. It's easy to use, and when you win, you get paid instantly. Those green numbers are in your account real quick. Right now, new customers for FanDuel can get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your shot at $150 in bonus bets. So make every moment more with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Yeah, he's been a great fit in Ottawa. Fans have really enjoyed him coming over. Have you had a chance to kind of connect with other families of players, wives, girlfriends, things like that?
Yeah, and actually, one of the things that I loved about the players was obviously so I had our third kid, and Nick was in town for the birth, but I wasn't able to get up there obviously as I was healing. But it was very thing that stood out to me was that when I got to the rink, finally visited, every single player had come up out of the blue. After the game, they came up to me. I went to a skate. The ones I hadn't met came up to me and they like shook my hand and they were
Nice.
like, I'm so and so. And the wives are awesome. The girlfriends are so awesome. I think it's definitely a group that is very tight knit off the ice, as you can see. And I'm not there full time, but the girls are wonderful. I text Emma Kachuk all the time, Marion Shabbat. They're all wonderful people. So couldn't ask for anything better there.
Well, you and Emma had kids pretty much right next to each other. I know you're a vet at this point. That was your third and her first, but it's probably nice to have people who are in similar situations as you to be able to, see how you guys are doing.
Yeah, it's actually nice because from what I hear is apparently there weren't a whole lot of kids on the teams in previous years. So
they were the players were the kids in previous years.
It's
Yeah.
crazy. It's crazy. And actually, when we were at the Caps, I think there was like 42 kids on the team. So coming here, one of the wives said something like, "Oh my gosh, we have so many kids this year. We have like 14 kids or something like that." And I'm like, "Well, 3 of those crazies are mine." So now I'm the reason that. But no, it's good to see other people have kids. And now that I'm not 22 anymore, and when my husband's playing professional hockey, I'm kind of feel like I can give a little bit of mom advice here and there when they need it. So.
Well, that's awesome. And we heard you're coming up this weekend for the game on Saturday. And there's a huge opportunity for those who are interested in helping out with the fight to end Duchenne. I hope I'm saying that right, but it's muscular dystrophy. And you've got a great initiative going on. Can you talk about what that means to you and why you decided that this was a charitable endeavor that you were looking to tackle?
Of course, yeah. So Duchenne hits close to home. It's
a little
okay.
more. That's a little more French, like a little more Canadian. I should have had that one.
Yeah, you can work on it. It took me a while. We used to say DMD, but now they changed it to Duchenne. So the disease hits close to home for Nick and I, and additionally living in DC for all those years. PPMD is an organization, Parent Project Muscular Dystrophy, that we came across with. Once you have a friend or a family member affected with it or living with Duchenne, it kind of becomes this like small little community where you kind of just want to help any way that you can. And PPMD was local to DC, so I quickly got involved with Pat Furlong, who's the founder of PPMD. She had 2 boys with Duchenne a long time ago. So she essentially founded the organization and has paved the way over the past 30 years for single-handedly helping to create or advance the platform for having the treatments that are out there now. And so, I'm kind of rambling and I apologize, but I'm very passionate about it. I've met multiple individuals living with Duchenne, all the way from, newly diagnosed at, 2 years old, 3 years old, and, all the way up until the adult years. And honestly, without, getting emotional, these people are extraordinary. I mean, they get more done in a day than 99% of the population. And so being in the medical world, I kind of took a step further and we're on the brink of a breakthrough with research, with treatments. Not only are we at a spot today in today's medicine, in today's day and age, where we can not only, hopefully stop the progression of the disease, but, treat it from multiple avenues, multiple angles. So now we're looking at gene editing, treating the genetic part of it, and also protecting the muscle, regenerating muscle. It really is incredible what is going on kind of preclinically at this point.
So, how are ways that people can support the cause? Is it a lot of generating awareness and donating towards helping the research and helping pay for like physio and equipment and things like that?
So Nick and I actually, we did a lot of, so through PPMD, and we'll get to kind of the fun stuff we're giving away for fans. But so PPMD is a wonderful organization. There are places that money goes for, paying for the physio, the gear, the kind of funding for like families, for caretakers. But where we found that we kind of wanted to sort of pave the way in this world of Duchenne was actually to push for customized treatments for every individual, to without confusing, the listeners. There are amazing, you hear about like gene therapy infusions, you hear about all these really awesome medical breakthroughs, and they are happening, but there is a select few individuals that qualify because of their genetic mutation. So the Jensen Research Fund is sort of a side pot, I guess, that we're collecting any fundraisers or funds to through PPMD that will actually pave the way for customized treatment, to kind of go hand in hand with PPMD's philosophy of, fighting for every future. So awareness, yes. I think we did a couple things with the Capitals organization last year. We want to kind of keep the ball rolling. We did a golf tournament last fall as well, and that was just awesome. Just getting the word out, I think, is big, and also knowing that any fundraiser that you're doing with us, to feel good, even if it's $1, just knowing that it is going towards what we say it's going towards. So.
Well, it looks like the initiative that you've been involved in right here is doing great, and we hope that this amount of awareness can help get that $10,000 goal here to help end the fight against Duchenne with the pilot project here with Parent Project Muscular Dystrophy. And it's not only a great cause, you guys are having some great prizes as well to help people maybe push themselves over the top here. What's on the line here for fans that if they donate, they could have some opportunities with the team?
Yeah, we want to make it super fun. And I know we're living in times where not everybody has, tons of extra change to, donate. But we wanted to throw in something real fun. So thankfully with we got on a call with the Senators, and they've been extremely generous. And we want the fans to know that we're giving away a suite for Saturday's game. It holds up to 14 individuals. So when you donate at our link, that I think you guys have it up there, but it's also in our Instagram accounts and
And
been posted.
the link to donate will also be in the description of this episode. So it's just a one-click shop.
Okay, so yeah, we're giving away a suite for this Saturday's game. Like I said, up to 14 people, and additionally a signed team jersey. And then we wanted to kind of make it a little bit more fun and give a little more, make it more, what's the word, tempting. So we also threw in a 1 hour private meet and greet / ice time with the guys, and we'll pick a good date with the winner. So we'll make it work with your schedule. But that is essentially, we're looking at maybe after practice one day, a group of people can come in, chosen by the winner, can come in, get anything signed, skate around with the players a bit, say hi, and just kind of get to know them on a personal level. We know the meet and greets right after games can sometimes be a little bit rushed, so we wanted to make it special for people. And as a first kind of fundraiser pilot, as you said, we wanted to go big for the first one. I should add in there, for those of you who are donating, we tend to throw in a few surprises here and there. We do have in there, so each guy signed a puck for me, so we will choose anyone who donates at all, any dollar amount will be entered into a chance to win just a signed puck by one of the guys. And then we may have a surprise last day kind of last push raffle where we like to give away something else big to people who donate on the last day. And it's a good cause. And like I said, I'm trying to help any way that I can. And I guess using our platform would be just the hockey, the sports, the fun. So I hope people like it, and I hope people donate.
Well, yeah, and I mean, just looking at it right now, it seems like there's a lot of names we recognize as Sens fans, and I think a lot of people not only relate to the prizes, but also the fact that you're so passionate speaking about this, and we heard Nick last week speaking about it as well. And I think it's such an important cause, and I'm glad to see that Sens fans are coming through on this as well, and we appreciate you for being open about the reasonings behind it and why this is important to you. And I think we're getting that 10K goal, Jenner. You think we can get it?
I hope so, you guys. And it would mean the world, honestly. These people in the community of the people I've met through PPMD and the community of Duchenne, I think they just really appreciate it. It can be a game changer. I mean, this money, you guys, can truly change the trajectory of the disease these days. I mean, no longer is it, what it used to be. There's a lot of hope there. And I hope that you fans can be the light in this dark tunnel, and we can have some positivity for the future for all of these people.
Are you getting out on the ice with this private ice time?
I grew up in Minnesota. I could skate with my eyes closed. It's not pretty. I jumped into an intramural game back when Nick and I were in college, and Nick, I think he might have peed his pants. It was not pretty. He was laughing. He didn't play in it because he was on the college team, but oh boy, did he come watch me. And yeah, that wasn't pretty. I can't stop very well, but I can go straight. So if that's what you need me to do, if you guys need me to jump in,
just get to the net. Just get to the net.
Yeah, it's just, I try. I'll stick with basketball and being a mom. So.
Oh, that's awesome.
Nice. Final question for me here, Jenner. This has been great. So glad to get you on the show and to raise awareness for a great cause. Have you been able to bring the boys up to Ottawa for a couple of games and get to see their dad play in person?
Yeah, they were really excited. There's a mini rink in the family room.
Nice.
So I have to bribe them with like cookies and stuff to get them out of there. But finally, so my oldest, Enzo, he'll be 5 here in a bit. He has like memorized all the players now, which was a big adjustment. He had memorized all the guys in DC. So when we told the boys that dad got traded, he was super confused. He was like, wait, so is he not like with like Oshie and Wilson anymore?
Ovechkin's coming with them, right? Right?
Yeah. But now he's like, oh, we have a fighter too. We have Brady Tkachuk. And so he knows he's got his like list down. So they've definitely adjusted. They love the snow. They love going to daddy's games and skating with them. It's mostly Nick holding them up, but yeah, we're gonna get out there soon, and then hopefully all of April we'll be out there. So you'll maybe be seeing a lot more of us.
Nice, saving the worst weathered months. I guess not too much nicer there in Minnesota.
It's it's brutal. It's pretty sad. It was like 30 degrees the other day, and we were in t-shirts. So it's happening. I'm already I'm adjusting back to Minnesota life. So yeah, it's not too big of a change from Minnesota.
Well, that's awesome. So when's the draw happening for this suite on Saturday?
So the contest will close Wednesday at midnight.
Lots of time still then.
Yep. So a lot of time left, and I'll annoy everybody on social media just to remind people who are busy. And then I believe we're drawing Thursday morning, and we wanted to announce the winner before the gala, just so there's not like too much going on. But so I'm hoping we can get to that 10 grand. It'd be awesome. And we're excited to give away hopefully a really fun experience for whoever the winner is. So
sounds like 14 more people on the Glebe Central Pub shuttle too. So we're fired up. We're going to be at that game on Saturday. We cannot wait. And we really appreciate you not only coming on the show, but taking the time and effort with this initiative. And we hope that everyone comes through and can make this a complete success all around. So thanks so much for doing this, Jenner. Look forward to seeing you next week, and all the best with a busy life that you got out there in the meantime.
It's a circus, but I'll bring my coffee. So I'll see you guys there. And I can't wait to see you guys in your tuxedos. I won't recognize you.
All right, Pillsy, stick taps to Jenner for joining us. Really fun conversation. Great to hear it's a tight-knit community in the Sens organization. And please make sure to donate to this great cause. The prizes are unbelievable. Pillsy, any final thoughts on today's show?
Final thoughts for me, Ross, is we'll just do kind of a quick Sens prospect roundup. Obviously, our guy, Blake Montgomery, keeping it going, although they had a tough loss to the Kitchener Rangers or the Kitchener Sens as they lost 5-4 in overtime. But Blake, he had an assist, and a couple other Sens prospects keeping it going. Owen Beckner had an assist in his game. He's up to 15 points in his last 12 games with Colorado College. And Javon Moore is heating up, and he's had at least 1 point in 9 of his last 10 games, 7 goals, 6 assists in that stretch. So, and Carter Yakimchuk obviously is keeping it rolling too. So we love to see Sens prospects around the hockey world light it up.
And you mentioned the Belleville game against Cleveland. Levi Merilainen, 31 saves on 32 shots and allowed only 1 goal on 4 shootout attempts.
And Ross, he stopped a penalty shot in overtime. So a huge game for Levi Merilainen.
Don't let that guy go one-on-one with any of your best shooters because he's got them in the bag. So shout out to Levi Merilainen. By the way, Sten's losing streak ended. The last win was Levi Merilainen. Well, when he was up, sorry. Forsberg played the game against Nashville, but worth noting.
Yeah, yep, worth noting.
He's unreal, man. He's up to 20 games so far this year. He's got a .915 save percentage. So .915 save percentage in the AHL, .925 in the NHL. The Sens have a real gem here in Levi Merilainen. We'll be back tomorrow. Sens will be back at practice. We'll look at whether or not the injured players are returning, and we'll get you set on Wednesday for the Sens matchup against the number 1 team in the National Hockey League, the Winnipeg Jets. For today, we say goodbye. For Brandon Piller, I'm Ross Levitan. This has been another edition. Thank you for watching, listening, and engaging with the show. As always, wouldn't be able to do it enough with you. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.